Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is for the Science of Fantasy Football.com. I am now moving into August. I'm going to try to draft 50 redraft leagues. Keep me busy during the season. This is part of my process, how I do things. I like to know ahead of time what's kind of going on, what are the patterns. I'll try to follow this every couple weeks or so. And we'll see how it all goes. So I want you to kind of pay attention. This is something that I do. See if any of this rings with you. You're certainly, obviously, the few that are listening, you get the benefits of seeing what I'm thinking about and see if it applies. Keep your diary, do your stuff. Let's make some money here. So, first thing I like to do is build a chart and just get some numbers down. I know it's a little confusion throwing all this out at once, but let's go through it. We have rounds. I think these are only round 20, but I went to 24. And DF is defense, PK is kicker, place kicker, quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver. The total for each round is 12. It's 12 team, okay? And I have something called the wide receiver to running back ratio, and that is just the proportion of running backs versus wide receivers drafted. If it's way below 1, then it's skewed to the wide receiver. If it's way above 1, then it's running back. A lot of them fall pretty close to around 1. The public does go off the reservation on a few rounds, and you can check that out and explore. So this kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. I'm going to come back to that. I've actually got a figure here. Over here, I have the round again, the running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, and tight end. And this is a running total down to the 20th round. So 74 total RBs tend to be drafted. 10 more wide receivers drafted, so 84. Almost 24 quarterbacks, 23, and tight ends. And you're saying, well, why so many? This is a tight end premium league. Okay, so they get 1.5 per catch instead of 1 point in a traditional PPR. And just real quick, this is what D-Mike really made me think about, my partner at Science of Fantasy Football. He said not every tight end gets really an advantage in this kind of scoring system, right? So people like Kelsey, who are treated like a wide receiver, gets lots of targets, then will benefit more than those that are goal line specialists and make their living getting you 6 points and maybe a few catches. Big difference than 8 catches and a touchdown. It's a big difference. So in your field notes, your draft notes, make note of the target levels, certainly from last year in the tight ends, and that will help you out. The colors are the where you've reached a first level of the draft for that position. So for running backs, the third round, the first 13 are gone. So that means all RB1s by public, not necessarily yours or mine, but by the public, are gone by round 3. Round 6, the RB2s are gone. Round 9, RB3s. Round 12, RB4s. Round 14, RB5s, round 19, RB6s. Okay? How does wide receivers? Big difference. By round 2, WR1s are gone. So they are a full round ahead. So this is a WR grab early, and you can see the ratios, 0.04 in the first round. Look at that. 8 versus 3 RBs taken. So everybody's going wide receiver nuts. First question, do you follow along with that? Or do you go different? Do you pick up 2 RBs and then swing the WRs? In other words, zig and zag, you've got to decide. Big question. One of the big questions, that's one. So WR1s are gone round 2. WR2s are gone by round 5. Again, 1 round ahead. Running backs. WR3s are gone by round 7. WR3s are 2 rounds ahead of RB3s, round 9. So there's, by round 9, look at that, almost a full 10 more WRs have been drafted. That is so interesting. This is really different. It's like there's a devaluing of RBs. It's like everybody's doing this 0 RB situation here. Very strange. And you need to decide, do you follow along with this? And I mean, if you got an early draft pick, then I guess you can follow along. But if you got a late draft pick, you're going to have to make a decision. You know, do you want the 8th best WR or one of the top 3 RBs? You know, that's a big question, you know. Pick 10, 9, there's some questions there. You need to understand that question's coming. And if you're on the clock in a minute or 30 seconds, you ain't got time to start making that decision then. If that's when you're making a decision, you're doing it wrong. Okay? So, WRs are way ahead of the game, and they continue all the way through. Okay? It is all about the WRs. But what's interesting, I will note, by the 9th round, 10 more are taken. And you know what? That proportion eventually is still maintained by the 20th round. So they are full round ahead. They think WR7s and 8s are more in play than RB6s. You know, if there's injuries, these RB6s can move up the pecking order a little bit and give you some value, maybe late, maybe during injury. So I'm not sure if I'm quite buying in on all that. Other questions. Quarterbacks, do you take the top 3 that are very highly ranked, or do you wait? You have the 3rd round. You have to decide, do you want the top 3 QBs? Okay, there's a big difference in the top 3 versus the next wave. So you need to make that play. Where do you make your play at for quarterback? What about tight end? If you don't grab Kelsey, do you take Andrews or do you wait and fall down? 12 quarterbacks are off by the 11th round. 12 are almost off. Tight ends by the 9th, 10th. So again, it's kind of like this clock. You need to realize you're on the clock on all your picks. Since we do have to play defense and kicker, they show up defense round 13, kickers round 14. I'm streamer kind of guy, so I've got some targets and do some research, right? If you're streaming, then you know, who's got a good game going first week or 2, okay? I'm going to try to have that out before the season starts so we can all stream together. But it's not necessarily the perceived topped defenses here. So, you know, there may be better plays in round 13 and 14 versus the defense and a kicker. Okay, don't get a little crazy on that, right? Please don't. Okay, so this is the roadmap. Okay, if you're not aware of the roadmap, then you're doing it wrong. Said that before. Okay, so now you have an opportunity. I'll have the static image of this on my article. So man, you can collect and tear it up. There it is. So let's go back a little bit. Here's my WR. If we plot, this is round to round 20. Anything in green is skewed heavily wide receiver. Round 1, round 8, round 13, round 17. Okay, everybody's digging those wide receivers there. Round 8 especially is very intriguing. Very few running backs are actually coming off the board there. So something really happens to the public. They really see that round 8 is a giant tier. People don't talk about that. But look at the running backs. Other than round 1, the running backs are fairly close first 7 rounds, except for round 1. But boy, they drop off. Then they do back. And then they skew high in round 10. Okay, then they're back a little bit, and then they skew at 14. So you need to be aware of this pattern here. Okay, look at round 8, only 2. Look at this, 8 wide receivers. It's like the public says, yeah, I'm happy with all these guys, and this is round 7. Basically, the end of the RB3s, people talk about that dead zone. I predict the dead zone is right there. The public has had enough of RBs at about round 8. This is amazing. I've never seen this pattern. Okay, you won't hear this anywhere else. These experts are coming out of the way. It's like you flick the light on and there goes all the water bugs and roaches, at least down south, you know. If you live in an older house in the city, we have roaches and water bugs, those big palmetto bugs flying out the door. And when you hit the lights, they go scattering. So all these wide receiver, these analysts are scattering. But nobody, to my knowledge, has picked this up at all. And you're saying, well, why? I don't know what they're doing, folks. Come on. You're not paying for their stuff, are you? I hope not. Okay. I'm just saying, it looks to me like the public's confidence is really playing out. So you need to be aware of where that confidence is taking a drop. I'm not saying that the public's right. Okay. I'm saying that's what the public is thinking. Is there some way to take advantage of that? To me, looking hard at the end of the RB3s and the 4s, it's an opportunity to sweep up what the public is wrong about. Okay, so I'm telling you that, talk about that dead zone right there is a very interesting thing that I see happening there, that the public is missing out there on round 8. Okay, so I think that's great. And again, you can look at that, see what's going on. Here's another chart if you like visual. This is by 12ths. So this is the position drafted by 12ths. So the 1s, the 2s, the 3s. And now you can follow each position. RBs are the blues. So you see by the second round, they're still in RB1 territory. Round 3, RB1s are gone. RB2s are starting. Round 6, RB2s are gone. You see how? Round 9, RB3s are gone. So right there's, and look at the gap right here. You can see it. Round 8, there it is, folks. It's not like I'm guessing. Look at the data, and then it's back on track. It's like, yeah, I'm not happy, but I've got to have some more. So I'll jump back on. Not happy with these WR3s and 4s. I'm going to wait here and squirrel some WRs here. And by the way, WR1s are gone by round 2. Round 4, they're about gone, the WR2s. Round 7, WR3s. Round 8, WR4s. So they're thinking these WR4s have much more value than RB3s. So you weigh those out, and that's what the public's telling us. Okay, I'm not sure I'm buying it. I'm going to, you need to look at what they're saying here. Okay, the public's saying things. And by the way, look how the gap is narrowing around 14 and 15. So I think the public's a little bit tired of the wide receivers at this point, and they're kind of a little bit, I don't know what I got. Then they're thinking, well, they got to be better than these running backs at this point. So anyway, this gives you an opportunity to kind of catch. Here are the tight ends. It looks like about round 9 and 10, you better have you a tight end, a quarterback, or then you're really digging deep. So that probably means about round 5 is probably about halfway through. So you probably need to decide, when do you want your quarterback and tight end, okay? Because you're going to be missing out on some of these guys up here, the WRs and the RBs. So, again, figuring this out. What does this mean? And so forth. Okay, let's move on here. I like to then look by rounds 1 to 4. Just, again, looking at the patterns. I think that allows you a visual of what's going on. And I believe you can see wide receivers are going off the board. Here's your tight ends. And what's interesting to me is the 3 quarterbacks are all right in here. Okay. So if you went, the public is saying WR, RB, quarterback, back to a wide receiver. So by the end of the 4th round, or you've got 2 WRs, a quarterback, and a running back. So who are we talking here? Here's the first 2 rounds. 1 tight end in round 1. 1 tight end round 2, and there's Patrick Mahomes. So you can see McCaffrey, Eckler, and Bijan, and then there's a gap. Chubb, Barkley, Taylor, he may be dropping, Pollard, Henry. So in the first 2 rounds, if you take a WR, round 1, then the public says choose Chubb, Barkley, Taylor, Pollard, Henry. And you'll miss out on Mahomes. So, do you want Hurts or Allen? Round 3. Or you want to wait on quarterbacks to Burrow, round 4. And then tight ends, I think I'll wait a little further. RBs, Jacobs, I don't know. He may be dropping more. Ramondre Stevens, Gibbs, Harris, Etienne, Jones, Walker. It's getting a little thin here. And your WRs, some interesting ones in these rounds. Round 4 especially is when people are, like I said, if you do WR, running back, quarterback, then you're grabbing a wide receiver. So you get your Samuel, Cooper, Judy, Watson, Hopkins. Interesting choices. 5 to 8. So here, people are starting to look around 5 at tight ends, and then there's the big gap. You talk about the dead zone, there it is. So the public is saying, take your tight end round 5. Come back and maybe get your RB2 and the WR. And round 8, finish out with another wide receiver. Don't take a running back. There's the dead zone for running backs right there. So who we talking? Who's our tight end choices? I'm liking Goddard in the 5th round. Then 6th round, Madison, nah. Pierce, I like Connor. Swift, maybe. And then round 7, if I pick another wide, my WR2, Williams is fine. Cook is fine. Kamar's fine. Don't like James Cook. And then a WR. They're going crazy on the WRs. Cooks I like. Thomas, maybe? It's a little lean for me. I think public's more excited about some of these than I am. But the WRs are really dominant round 8. The only 2 running backs, Gibson and Samaji. I'm not in a hurry to draft those. 9 through 12. Public says, let's go back to running backs. Make sure we got another tight end if we didn't grab one. So I guess in the tight end premium, you could think about a tight end 2 here. If not, they're not enamored with WRs here. Really, I think you're getting to the point where people are, they don't know what to pick round 10. They're just all over the place. Round 11, they're thinking some more tight ends. They still don't know. They're swinging back maybe by round 12. RBs. There's 5 of them really there. If you count this one, is even though it's in this round right there. Certainly, you want your quarterback 2. This could be. I could see people taking a tight end 2, quarterback 2 right in here as well. And the RB3. And they're what? 4th WR by round 12. So they got 3 RBs, 4 WRs, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. Who are the tight ends? Schultz is okay. Denver guy's okay. Higbee's okay. Kincaid, Chiggy's okay. I mean, I'm not just going, they're not my 1s, but they can be 2s. Quarterbacks, Prescott's okay for a QB2. Tua, he's okay until he gets hurt, maybe. I like Schuster up here, WRs. It's my 4th one here. RB2s, I do like Azier, just in case Bijan needs some break or gets hurt. Singletary is interesting. Rashad Johnson, Chicago, could be interesting. Okay. I do like Boyd. 13 to 16. Notice we're getting kickers and the defenses by then. So I might be, I don't know, I've got to pick my defenses. I could collect one in here, maybe. Probably waiting on kickers in these rounds. RBs are definitely round 14. Look at that. There's not but 1 or 2 WRs there. So clearly the public's saying stockpiling. Round 13, they don't know who to pick. Okay, WRs maybe, then RBs, then they don't know, then no RBs, round 16. Maybe some WRs, maybe your defense at that point, maybe that's the round. Okay, and so these questions that I'm telling you are things that I'm going to go through this data a little bit longer. But remember, when the draft's going, you got to respond to what's there. I don't know, I'm just telling this is average. So it gives me a sense of things, but it's not the end, right? It's not a map that's, in stone. It's definitely shifting around here. 13, 14. I like Elliott, folks. I've been drafting him in best balls. Foreman's okay. Mozart, Hubbard, those are all RB 4 or 5 types. WRs, Mingo's okay. Thielen I like with Mingo. If you could pick those up together, that might be an interesting tandem. Is Thielen lost a step, or is he still there? And Mingo could benefit you late. I like Osborne up in here. I do. Shark is okay. Peoples-Jones, I like it. Jelani Woods is a great TE3. I do like him. I don't know if I want to invest in Hunt. Clyde Edwards-Helaire could be, a 5-6. I'm not scared of that at all. Finally, 17 and 19, you definitely need your kickers, probably around 20 for me. It's like I'll have plenty of opportunity. I'll probably stream kickers and defenses. And it looks like the public is stockpiling tight ends. They're tight end twos or at least 3. So I would probably be grabbing my 3s in here. Hurst is okay. Knox, who knows what you get there. I like Patterson late. Michael Carter late. WR Samuel's okay. And then the last deal, maybe Davis at Dallas. Tight end, I love Zach Ertz. Probably too much. Hunter Renfrow, I don't know. Richie James, I do love late. I mean, trouble is at this point, these people are just about free. It's like everybody seems to be sparkling, and you know that they're not going to deliver. If you get WR4 or RB4 out of any of these, then you've done something. Okay. So, and I'll just look what's going on in these next, kind of see what I see. Nothing dramatic here. Kickers are going, WRs. Nothing dramatic here. But I think we only go to round 20 in the redrafts here. Okay, so that is my 30 minutes of me prattling on. I will have the static images for these, so that will help you out. Okay, thanks for listening. You can see what I'm going to be using as a tentative planning tool for my 50 drafts, and I will update this mid-August because there's going to be injuries, changes. Obviously I'm not going to wait if there's major changes. Okay, thank you for listening. Science of Fantasy Football. Dr. Bush, we're having fun. Thank you for listening.